Yes, hello and welcome to the Sunday Footy Show. Hope you are having a great morning and have enjoyed the footy so far this weekend. To talk you through all of the action and have a little bit of fun, as always, Billy Slater, Andrew Johns and Brad Fittler. How are we? Fired up?
Yep, ready to go.
Hope so, because we have a big show planned for today. So let's take a look at what is coming up. A big round of footy, some key injuries as well, so we'll dissect all of the wins. Jimmy Maloney on Turn It Up. We'll try our very best to keep it PG rated. And Freddy's pass-off is back, so we have some of the little kiddies from the Narrabeen Sharks. But first off, we're going to recap the results so far from round 3, and we had an incredible Saturday of footy. Well, first up this afternoon, we have the Eels and the Doggies. So the Dogs, no Viliami Kikau, no Matt Burton, and for the Eels, Josh Addo-Carr comes back into the side. The results so far, so last night, big super Saturday of footy. So we had the Sharkies getting a big win at home. That one, their first home victory of the season. We also had the Tigers going back-to-back for the first time this season as well. From Sunia Turuva and the Titans as well, their first victory over your Knights.
Yeah.
Yep. So we'll dissect all of the action. But Billy, let's start with our Sunday salutes, and you can do the honours first.
I'm going to salute Braden Trindle, kicking 2 40-20s in last night's game against South Sydney. Look, you know you're on top of your game and you're scanning for opportunities when you're doing this, and it was on both sides of the field. The second one was on the third tackle, just looking for an opportunity. Jumps from the left-hand side to the right, sees the space, and the other thing is when you've got confidence, you take those opportunities. So it's one thing to scan and see the chance there to kick a 40-20, but Braden Trindle, he's doing the majority of the kicking at the Sharks at the moment. And he's having some sort of season.
If there was no DCE this year in Origin, there's some options. Jamal Fogarty, Trindle, Sam Walker, he won't be back. Where would you rate him amongst all the chances?
Yeah, no, I'm fully aware that he's a Queenslander, that's for certain. And, you know, the way that he's not just played this year, but last year as well, he's someone to certainly keep an eye on. I don't think that would be beyond him for sure.
Joey, what's your Sunday salute?
Mine was the big tackle from Mo Fadawaka on Adam Elliott. Just adjusts his rib cage.
Doink.
With
Cut him in half.
Tackling techniques have really changed over the years, and it's very rare you see that. You know, it's all catching and holding and wrestling. Nothing better than a good old-fashioned smasher-rooney. So, Adam Elliott, I don't know how your ribs are this morning, but great hit, mate.
Tell you what he did do. He held the ball. That was a tough catch, and he held the ball. So well done, Adam.
Hope you had a good sleep, Adam. Freddie, who's your salute?
Champion little hooker, Abby Coruscant, 18 all up against the Dolphins. Come up with a couple of brilliant plays. First one finds Alex Seyfarth, a couple of smaller men in the defensive line. Beautiful ball, and then does it all himself. It was only the third or fourth tackle. Going back for the field goal. Dummy. Sidesteps Gilbert. Very crafty. What a player. 18 all. Seal the result. Great play.
In a game that's dominated by power and athleticism, you see the deception of Appy Coruscant. That first try, he actually went backwards to bring the defence towards him to put Seyfarth through the... And then the deception on the field goal, no, I'm going to go for a try. There's still an element of smarts in our game, isn't there?
No mouthguard. You played with no mouthguard?
Never wore a mouthguard.
Never.
Never.
So irresponsible.
I wore one game when I was 14. It actually, and I just felt like I was choking, so I threw it out. And then after that, in the second half, kid headbutted me, my tooth died. From the only time I ever wore one.
Serves you right. Kids, wear a mouthguard, not like Uncle Freddy.
Did you ever lose any teeth, though?
No. I had one that died from that tackle, and then I just got it replaced.
Yes. What about the semi? He got smashed the week before and had an infected lip. So we go to the toss, and there's no Freddy.
Stitches.
Rico's there, so we get out on the field. I look at him, he's got like that. Looks like he's one of those ladies from Hollywood with the fillers.
The fillers and Botox.
I just called Ben Kennedy and Steve Simpson over and went, see that bloke? We're going to terrorise him tonight. Every scrum you do.
Mogul Vella.
He smashed it.
20-some stitches.
Kids, wear a mouthguard.
Kids at home, don't do what Freddy did. Now, we've got lots to get through this show, plenty of news to dissect. But before we do, on behalf of everyone here on the panel, we'd like to send our condolences to the family of Bo Huitt. He was one of the #1 supporters for Manly, actually featured on our show last week. He became incredibly close with the boys, particularly the Trbojevic brothers, and unfortunately during the week, he lost his long battle with cancer. So Manly this afternoon will be dedicating their match to Bo and to his memory. So on behalf of everyone here at Channel 9, we'd just like to let you know that we are thinking of his family. Now, time for our Sunday roasts. What's hot and what's not in rugby league? And the big story of the week, not a massive surprise, but it is now official. Brandon Smith has signed with the Rabbitohs for next season. He spoke on the Buy Around podcast with James Graham.
I feel like people, almost half assume that I went to the Bunnies to piss off the Roosters. That's not really the case, you know what I mean? It's just, it seemed very convenient. Wayne Bennett actually wanted me back, so it means that he's got a lot of interest in me after, recent indiscretions. The fact that it's in Sydney, me and my partner don't have to move. It's right down the road from where we live at the moment, so it all just the stars just aligned, and just to be able to be coached by Wayne Bennett. I've had 2 amazing coaches in my career so far, and Craig and Trent, and now I get to go to another amazing coach.
There you have it, Brandon Smith speaking on the Buy Around podcast. Do we all agree that it's a good move for Brandon to be going there, firstly playing under Wayne Bennett, and I guess Wayne can use that real utility value, which you saw in his time at the Storm, Bill?
I think it's a huge attraction, Wayne Bennett. I think Wayne Bennett has had a history with players like Brandon. He's a life of the party sort of a guy, and he does so much for the camaraderie around the group, but he's also a great player. He's a premiership player, and Wayne sees that value in his footy team, and I think it's a good move. It was short-lived at the Roosters. He went there only a few years ago, and now he's got an opportunity at the Bunnies. I actually thought that it could possibly happen this year. But
do you think he's a starting hooker or a middle forward, and also
Wayne said that. Wayne came out and said, well, he's not a starting hooker, but I'm going to use him for his versatility.
The way Melbourne used him.
I'll tell you what, if you needed to start a real physical pack, you could really start him at dummy half and then bring in another crafty dummy half. Look at De Silva come on for the Tigers and just create that spark, and he does all the heavy lifting early in the game. But I think his best position is his leg speed one off the ruck. That's where he's played his best football for Melbourne. So I think you could use him like a hybrid and play a little bit of both.
Well, when they signed Reece Robson, they had to get rid of someone because Connor Watson does the same role, plays hooker, lock forward, can start off the bench, can start,
and Reece will play 80 minutes.
In the original lineup.
Reece Robson will play 80 minutes, so there's no real room for another dummy half. So the writing was on the wall when that signing occurred.
He likes to play up to that whole larrikin personality, but plenty of former teammates have said that he's actually one of the smartest guys they've played with and really understands the game and is a student of the game. Did you see that when you played with him? Yeah,
and the other thing that I really noticed was how hard he worked. He's got a great work ethic, Brandon, and I think under Wayne Bennett you'll see the best of that. He's obviously had some unfortunate injuries. He's going through a knee reconstruction at the moment, so he's not back till the end of the year. But when he gets back and he's fully fit, he is of great value. He leaves it all out there.
That's his personality.
100% checked in.
Everything he does is million miles an hour, and you can't separate sometimes the way they play from their natural personalities. And if anyone can control, not control, let Brandon be Brandon, is Wayne Bennett. Look at over the years, Alan Langer, Wendell Saylor, these players, he gives them freedom and lets them be himself. But there's that trust element where they won't take the mickey.
And there's the respect too. I think that's got to go both ways. If Wayne's going to give him that leeway and let him express himself, there's a lot of trust from the player towards the coach as well, and I think Wayne gets that.
Well, I don't think Wayne would have liked what he saw yesterday at Shark Park. It was a great first half in particular from Cronulla. Some of those tries, they'll go down as contenders of tries of the season, really. And Ronaldo Mulatalo setting up a couple, Will Kennedy, and the halves. Like, everywhere you looked, it was just entertaining footy, wasn't it?
Well, they were attacking from the opening whistle. They scored, I think, in the 3rd minute. And from there, And I think Braden Trindle had a lot to do with this. They were relentless.
How's this one?
How did he get out
You
there?
reckon they look really fast in the outside backs? They were lightning.
But they did this a couple of times. They actually got penalised for a forward pass. I think it was like a set or two earlier where Kailiro got back on side but didn't quite get back far enough. So they're telling you they're happy to attack from anywhere. And they've got not only the confidence to do it, but they've got the talent.
They're a team, most teams focus on defence, and pretty much every team focuses on their defence first. They're a team that can really energise their defence with their attack. They do it as good as anyone. They're set plays, they're sharp, they're detailed, and then they can attack you in situations like this when it's just scramble. They call it chaos footy. They've got some brilliant players in their team, none more than this guy. He was sensational last night, but their outside backs are athletic, they're skillful, and they're powerful.
Joey, what about the halves for Cronulla? Braden Trindle, really, that was his first crack at that jersey last season after Matt Moylan departed. And they didn't spend a whole lot of time together. And, you know, at times when Braden Trindle had a good game, people said, oh, Nico wasn't doing enough, and vice versa. But they're really starting to build that combination nicely, aren't they?
Shared the load.
Yeah.
Sometimes they'd interchange, and that's what halves do. If the ball goes to your side, then you get in first receiver and you link back up with your other half. I don't think it matters what number they got on their back, but you could see that Trindle was probably the dominant half, which freed up Nico. I thought it was the best game Nico's played in a couple of years. I thought he was really dominant, especially with his game based around his running game, as we saw the first try, where he got the ball off Trindle, the first try. And, you know, these days, the position between 5'8" and fullback are very similar. So, yeah, I love the way they shared the load and the way they played.
Bill, what about Will Kennedy? Not signed beyond this season. Would you be locking him down if you were Cronulla? He's had a great start so far.
Yeah, I think they're a real settled team, and I think they're building to something. They've obviously got to take that next step, and that's been the question mark on the Sharks for the last couple of years. So, you know, Will Kennedy's an integral part of what they're doing down there, so I wouldn't see why you would move him on. And you'd only move someone on if you've got someone better in their replacement, and you've got to have a fair player to be someone better than this number one.
There's a young guy of Eason, and big raps on him, but I think he tore his ACL start of the year. But I'd be signing up for sure. They've got those combinations now out wide. They've played together for a while now, the outside, the back four, back five, whatever you want to say. They've got to keep him for sure.
It doesn't just happen, though. Like, there's demands, and obviously he's showing a lot of clubs that he's very capable. And like what he's doing there at the back, like not many clubs can do that.
No.
Not many fullbacks have the ability to be able to do that, hold the defence, get them standing still, you know, expose the outside. So all of a sudden, he's starting to be worth a bit more. You don't know where. I don't know what their salary cap looks like, Cronulla. They lost one front rower last year, brought Adam Fanua-Blake. They had to pay more. Big difference between Adam Fanua and Royce Hunt. So at some stage, their salary cap's going to get tested.
Yeah, and their developing players are getting more experience now. You got Stone Street on the wing. I thought
Kailiro,
he was
improving
superb.
all the time, isn't he?
So aggressive with his carries. And on the flip side, you've got South Sydney, who were just that little bit off. They won their first two games, and you could tell by their kick chase, and that's where a couple of those tries came from the kick returns from the Sharks. Their kick chase just wasn't as straight and as firm as it has been before. So I'm sure Wayne Bennett will be looking at those little effort areas of the game and pointing them out in their review.
Yeah, absolutely. The other big story from the week, Joey, I know this one got you fired up. Daly Cherry Evans being lowballed, offered reportedly a deal
What are you laughing at?
around $600,000 a season.
I think it's disrespectful. I think, well, he's played, is it 15 years? Is that right? He's missed 20 games in that whole time.
Isn't it?
So he's durable. He's still got his speed. A mate of mine's the conditioner there, Johnny Clark, from England. And he said he wins everything in training. We try to pull him out of fitness. He refuses to do it. And for me, without a doubt, it goes both ways. Daly cannot be on over $1 million.
Yeah. Everyone takes a hit towards the end, don't they?
Look, I think a fair number for both parties would be about 800,000.
Well, what's he on now?
I'd be over $1 million, 1.1.
1.1,
he was on a long
1.2.
No, he was on 1.3 or 1.4 when Bozo got him back from the Titans.
Well, he's worth every bit of what he's on now.
Okay, he goes to the open market.
He gets
two new teams coming in.
He gets
PNG.
1.5.
Yeah, but are you willing to do
Easy.
that? You're going to have to get your family. You're going to have to move your family.
But he should never play for another
Shouldn't have
club.
to. He
I
shouldn't
know,
have
but
to.
there's a salary cap.
Yeah.
There is a salary cap, so that's like it's there for a
600,
reason.
600, that I agree. That's disrespectful. If that's the number.
But just say there's no
you're-
more than 600. Just say that's it. That there's no more. I know they've signed a couple of young blokes.
Joey Walsh is, but he's just turned 19. So if they sign Daly for 2 years, transition, Joey Walsh should be 21 by then. He's ready to go.
I'm assuming there's none left.
We've just seen a player that's signed for 10 years for 1.3 that hasn't got half the resume that Daly's got.
Don't bring it up again.
No, but
The eight's talking about
But
it.
if
Yeah.
are we we're all of a sudden signing players on what they could possibly do, not what they've done, and what they can still do.
Well, then you go to the league and you say, you know, and they have like a veteran clause, don't they? If you've played so many games at a club, you get allowances. So I don't know what those allowances are. Then maybe you go to the game and go, well, you know what? A bloke like this who's played his whole career, then they should be able to have bigger allowances if you need to keep them.
So quickly off playmakers, Jay Clifford, Duffy, Hutchison, Sexton, Adam Reynolds. I can't read my writing. Who's the last one there? Anyway, those are players. If they do lose him, it's who are they going to buy?
Well, you look at South Sydney; they're still recovering
from Adam Reynolds,
letting Adam Reynolds go.
I'll say this: Jamie Humphries is on 150 grand. I hate talking about money, but listen, if he went on the open market tomorrow, what would Jamie Humphries get?
We'd give him 600 at least.
At least 800-900, without a doubt. And that's the market at the moment. The market is elevated because what's happened with Dylan Brown. There's two more teams coming in a couple of years. Up and up and up.
They're saying Lockie Galvin could even get over $1 million.
Oh, he
and it's only
deserves
his
it.
second season.
Because you're paying on potential, because there isn't too many playmakers out there. A lot of our top playmakers are over 35.
What about for Manly, the fact that they have a squad there now, ready to go, ready to win a comp? It's not like they're in a rebuild phase.
Yeah.
Surely they do whatever they can to keep Cherry for 2 more years.
It'll happen, for sure. It's got to happen sooner rather than later. Get it done this week. And once again, both parties, Daly's got to come down. They've got to go up a bit, meet in the middle, done.
He's 36 now.
He'll
How
play
many
till
more
he's 40,
years? 40?
without doubt. Well, halfbacks don't get hit
The
these
position's
days.
changed massively.
You don't get hit.
Not being able to be tackled while kicking the ball is a game changer for halfback.
Not being hit in the back after you pass the ball.
Yeah.
And he's that smart, Daly. He knows how to pull himself out of the right positions where he's not getting bashed, especially early in the game. He's on the right side. He's got a bloke called Ola Kawatu defending inside of him. So no one runs that side.
Mate, he played a game in the first round. Him and Luke Brooks had 19 runs each. I think he had 20 runs. So, like, you know, like you said before, he picks and chooses his times.
Yeah.
But then the times he does pick him, I've seen him get back and do tackle 1 runs out of dummy half. He does it all the time. He knows how to play the game. He knows the game.
Well, hopefully we see a couple more years of Daly Cherry Evans,
He won't be anywhere else.
maybe playing till he is 40. Stay with us here on the Sunday Footy Show. After the break, we're going to dissect the Tigers' epic comeback win over the Dolphins, and that claw was out. Plus, the Titans get their first win at home. See you soon.
Goes himself, goes and scores the game-clinching try. Abby Coruscant has taken over this contest, and the Tigers knocking on the door of a second straight victory.
So good to watch from the Tigers. 30-18, the final score against the Dolphins. What a comeback it was, and I think it's fair to say that it was such a brave performance, and the Tigers of the last few years wouldn't have been able to claw their way back into that contest.
Not even close. Not even close. I've got to say, the Dolphins started fantastic. Katoa and Nikarima, I thought, were brilliant, just moving the ball. They looked very dangerous, but they just didn't go away, the Tigers. I thought they were great.
They look a happy, real bunch. You saw that last try, they're all getting together and jumping over and cheering. That's what it's about, playing with great spirit. I think they'll be around the 8. I don't know whether they can make the 8. But
Tigers?
I think
they'll make the 8.
I think they can make the 8.
They'll be around that group pushing for 7th and 8th.
What they've got now is they've got a little bit of class. They've got a little bit of class to get rewards for their hard work. This guy's another year under his belt, Lockie Galvin. You got Jerome Luai, who can create things, and Appy and Buller at the back. They've got this class to put the points on the board. They were 6 points down with 18 minutes to go. They end up winning by 12 points. So,
well, they were 12 down at half time. That was 18-6.
Pour it on.
I also like the way they did a double interchange. They brought Royce Hunt on with Jack Bird, and I thought together they just found a way to use their experience. They passed the ball between each other. They had some big runs. Their defence was good. So I thought they made a huge impact. And the other one was Pole. I thought Pole is a starting front rower.
Good footwork.
Good footwork. He just had that, I don't know, he just imposed himself on the game, and I thought he held his own in the middle. So I think across the park, including from talking about your starting side and bench, I think a real good team effort.
The other interchange guy that's made a real difference the last 2 weeks is Talon De Silva. You've really noticed when he's come on the field. I think he made a line break last week when he first came on, and he scored a try this week. So, they're getting a lot right, the Tigers, and they're working hard for it. So when you've got all this class in your team, the hard workers just go, well, if I just work hard, the rest will be taken care of.
Izzy Katoa, he carried that team yesterday.
He was
He's
good.
passing, he's kicking.
Running.
In particular, his running game.
Yeah.
He's found a running game the last couple of weeks. He's absolutely carrying this team. They're going awful. They're going awful, the Dolphins.
What's going wrong?
Oh, I don't know. It's hard
Although
to
they
put
started good.
They've lost all the close games.
Yep.
You've got to win the close games. That's the key. This young halfback, he's an amazing player. That is just beautiful halfback play. The way he hid the ball, changed his speed, played nice and straight. He's an absolute gun. I don't know, Bill, how they bring Hemiso into play.
Yeah.
They're not getting him into space enough.
There was a chance in the second half when they were up by 6 points to take the two, and they decided to go for the try. I think, that'll be a learning for the young halfback, and maybe Cody Nikorima needs to take some responsibility about that as well. So, when you're in a game and you're up by 6 points and there's an opportunity to put it out by more than the converted try, what that does to your opposition psychologically sort of helps you as well.
But how do they bring Hemiso and also Herbie Farnworth into play? They've got to tweak some things to get them more quality ball. And
Well, Hammer's got to have a bit to say with that as well.
Yep.
It's up to Hammer to
well, as a fullback,
get himself into the
how
game.
do you think he needs to get more ball and where?
Well, you got to find your strengths. He's a brilliant runner of the football. So whether it's in little plays in and around the ruck, you don't see that
With
a lot
Marshall
from the
King.
Dolphins with Marshall King, but also the halves. You need to help create the space. Defences are too good, to do it on your own these days.
We just looked at Will Kennedy, the way he used his sort of, his view of the game at the back, getting it on tackle one. Why couldn't Hammer be doing that? You've got mobile back centres. You talk about Herbie Farnworth and those sort of blokes. They should be linking up at the back.
Yeah, it's a full team structure as well. To get your key players in position. We were talking about Kalen the last couple of weeks. It's the full team structure that helps get Kalen the ball in good situations. So they need to find those opportunities for the Hammer and get their strike players into the game.
Speaking of Kalen, it was a big loss for the Knights up there on the Gold Coast. Joey, sorry, we do have to talk about it.
It looked waterlogged.
Where did it go wrong?
Well, I don't think they didn't play to the conditions. Very wet, slippery. There's a nice forward pass. Anyway, talk about that later. No, they didn't play to the conditions. And I just think some fundamental errors, some of the errors.
They had all the ball early.
Just really bad errors.
They were good, the Titans.
They were good. Just got a good forward pack, Bill.
Big Tino
And
bullied
what
them.
about their spine?
Their front row.
Kinney?
Tino.
Tino's a machine. Absolute machine. So you've got Kinney and then Campbell working together and Bruce.
Yeah.
Do you like that?
Well, they've got the Melbourne blueprint. 3 fullbacks and a dummy half. They can all ball play and they're all great runners of the football. When you're a great runner of the football, it just makes your ball playing more dangerous. So it's going to take a little bit of time. It's going to be inconsistent at times, but I think Campbell did the majority of the kicking. He's
got to
into
improve
it.
that. First half, there was a couple of kicks where they got a seven tackles.
Yeah, two
But
in a
that's the
row.
inconsistency
He's got to find that.
that Des will be looking at. But this stuff, they're as good as any team in broken field play with Campbell, Brimson and young Kinney at the back. They're as electric as anyone.
Mate, Tino was a beast.
Mo Fodawaker.
His offloads, Tino going into the line, 3 blokes on him, late offloads, and they worked him out last night, but that's going to get better as well.
Well, Payne's the number 1 front row in the game, but he's close behind. He's number 2 for sure. For sure.
Where do we see it, given the fact that, their spine needs a bit of time to gel, got some of the best forwards in the game? Do we see the Titans making the 8
I think they'll be
this year?
similar. I think they're similar to the Tigers. They'll be around that 7th and 8th position. The key for them is they've got to win the tight games, and that's the difference between coming 10th or 11th to coming 6th or 7th or 8th. You've got to win the tight games.
I think their edges are inconsistent as well. They come up with errors at bad times. Kelly, Jojo Fafita, Khan Pereira last week or 2 weeks ago did that. Come up with a couple of errors at bad times. I think Jojo Fafita had a really cold drop at a bad time. So I think that was something with the Warriors a couple of years ago where their edges constantly making errors. You've got to be reliable bringing the ball out of trouble.
A bright spot for Newcastle was the debut of Jermaine McEwen, I think that's how you pronounce it. Now, ironically, his sister, Eva, debuted last year for the NRL for the Knights, and she wore the number 19. He had a piece of play late where he got the line and shimmied and fanned and then got the Sonny Bill pass. I was like, wow. And another product of Western Sydney, he was in the Penrith Juniors. Still only 19, but, geez, he looks a player there.
Yeah.
Really
I
good.
thought Kant was... Did I say that wrong?
Cant.
Well, I don't know.
Thomas Kent.
I don't think you did, but we won't watch the
minutes.
replay.
80 minutes in the back.
We need one of those dump buttons.
Are we on a delay here?
I don't think we are.
But it was great.
He's been in the system for a long time, Tommy Kent, local junior, played all the way through the junior system. He played great on the edge.
You know what? I heard his name a lot. He was in everything. Tackling, although there was a tackle on Dave Fafita, I thought, you know what? I haven't seen that many times.
Fletcher Sharp Bill.
Yeah, I think he's having a great year. He hasn't disappointed in the first 3 games anyway, so he's got great balance. He's playing a new position, and that's going to obviously improve as the longer he gets in those shoes. But just a dynamic runner of the footy. They're missing 3 key forwards as well. They're both back rowers: Lucas, Pierce-Paul, and also Leo Thompson.
The front row,
Front row.
They're
So
big outs.
yeah, they're big outs. Yeah.
Well, there's still plenty more to come here on the Sunday Footy Show. The Warriors get the job done across the ditch against the Roosters. But as we do head to the break, Millie Elliott went on the streets of Newcastle for a bit of fun for Freddy and the 8.
We are kicking it old school with some street talk. Newcastle are 2-0 to start the season, so let's check in and see how the locals are feeling. Big Knights fan, I can see. And how long have you been supporting the Knights for?
Since I was a little boy.
And how old are you now?
I've got 12 years of experience as an 18-year-old.
Right, I'll have to do some quick math there. Yeah, you can put your teeth in.
Okay, yeah.
You like hearing Joey and Freddy over the commentary, don't you?
I'm not a great fan of Joey.
Oh, no! No!
Everyone can make mistakes.
Any secrets? He's going to be watching this. I know he does a lot of odd things. But...
Yeah, he's a really odd guy, but there's nothing that I'll have to take that to the grave with me.
Looking for some room to play some football. Metcalf. Great hands for Gloucester. Overlap. They've stepped the match winner for the Warriors.
Incredible scenes over there in New Zealand. The Warriors left it late, but eventually got the job done. 14-6 over the Roosters. It's a tough road trip, isn't it, over to New Zealand? And the Roosters had that epic win over the Panthers the week before, which would have taken a lot out of them. What do you make of this Roosters performance?
They were tough. This game, it was... if you want to cure insomnia, this is the game to watch. Very, very wet and slippery, and it was dour right till the 80th minute, but they got the job done. They won the battle of the field position, but once again, I don't know if it was the conditions or what, but yeah, it was quite dour, very dour. But they played strong, both teams. The Roosters, there's some really good signs. Some of their young players coming through. Nafu White.
This guy in particular here.
This guy here, he's a gun. Now, he's the nephew of Ali Lawatiti.
Yep.
Wow.
Who was an absolute
He was a
freak.
Well, he did it with the football. He also put on a big shot towards the end of the game as well. Yeah, he's
How did you find the game? Did you find it dour?
It was 6-4. It felt like it was 6-4 for a long, long time. And I feel like the Roosters were trying to just cruise and hopefully get a try out of a kick or something. They didn't really try much during that period. And, whether they were trying to play the conditions, but they just didn't put the Warriors under much pressure at all, I didn't think.
Yeah, I just thought they needed somebody on either team to stand up and break the shackles and at least play and offload.
But he was one. Harris Tavuta was a spark.
I thought the young halves are getting better and better for the Warriors. Metcalf, he's going well.
He was the one that chased his own kick and scored the try towards the end of the game. There was a moment for the Warriors as well with Roger Tuivasa-Sheck. He tore his hamstring and then got himself back in the defensive line and saved a try in the corner. So there was a bit to take out of that. This is it here, Roger Tuivasa-Sheck. He had a hamstring injury. That's actually not when he did his hamstring. He'd done it just before that, but found a bit of courage to get back into the defensive line and then saved a try. So that could be a big moment in the game.
How brave is that? Because a hammy's one that, I mean, generally you can't push through. They know straight away and quite often are off instantaneously.
Yeah, absolutely. He was thinking about the team and not himself and got himself back in the defensive line. So, yeah, that was a big play.
Have we got a report on that? Does anyone know how bad it is?
They're saying that it's at least a grade 2.
That looked like a tear the way he grabbed it, didn't it?
Yep.
So potentially 4 to 6 week mark for Roger Tuivasa-Sheck. What about Victor Radley? I know he returned after that HIA, but just given the number that he's had over the years, do you you get a little bit scared and hold your breath, don't you, Freddie? When you
Well, it's not so much over the years. He had one a couple of weeks ago, and you could see there he got his head in the wrong spot. They've got these protocols for a reason, though. At the moment, we can only be guided by the protocols, and he sat out last week's game, and he come back for this one.
Hides the camera.
He passed the test and come back on. So you can only be guided by what the scientists and what the rules are telling us at the moment. So at the moment, let's not jump shadows.
Yeah.
So he went back on and finished the game. Went good.
He's in good hands at the Roosters too, because they've had plenty over the years.
When did the Chooks get some players back?
What are they waiting for? They're really waiting for the half and the hooker.
Sam and Brandon won't
play.
Not until July, August.
Brandon might be at the Bunnies if the noises are correct.
They've got the Butcher brothers.
So Nat Butcher should be back very soon. He had
he's
like
about a month off still.
He had a stomach problem, and then Egan Butcher, I think he'll be back very soon as well.
Yeah, some of their players are
Billy Smith
coming on as well. Yeah, Nwanga Nidawazi.
Isn't he going well?
He's got so much ability with the football, and time on the field is going to help him defensively as well. He's still got some errors around him defensively, but time will sort that out. He's got some real ability.
I think you realise playing against the young centre, he just didn't go in hard enough, and I think he learned something out of that you need to throw everything at it. Well, that bloke, once he got the ball, I don't know how you say his surname. I apologise for that. It's not Lauatua.
It's a little bit different.
Yeah. But when he got the ball, oh my God, it was like a train. So look at what's this. Like, you just weren't stopping him. No one was stopping him from there. But I think Marky Mark would have learned a lesson there that you need to throw everything.
Oh, he's a good player, isn't he?
They're always a good team to watch, aren't they, the Warriors? Like, over the years, their attacking flair, their defence potentially, they've struggled over the years, but they can always put on a show with the ball in hand.
And they've done a really good job coming back from Vegas. They would have been really disappointed and embarrassed to a certain extent on their performance over in Vegas.
And everyone read them off.
Yeah.
I reckon I read them off.
They've come back and
everyone
won 2 in a row.
I watched that game, I just went, oh my God.
Yeah.
How late.
Cleary finds touch right on the 40. Positions himself. Here we go. 2-point field goal attempt from Cleary. He's done it! He's got it! Nathan Cleary sends us to golden point. Bang! Last play. The ball to Moses from in front. He's kicked it. The Eels win in golden point. And that's why you get the big bucks, baby.
What a moment it was in 2023. This is our brand new segment on this day. Before we dissect that moment, Freddie, I just want to make a quick comment from the last segment.
Yeah, the gun centre from the Warriors just scored the 2 tries. Ali Lauatua. So watch out for him. He can play.
There we go. Okay, so that match, it was one that you can watch over and over again. So Nathan Cleary, 45-metre field goal. And we thought I remember being at this game, we thought the Panthers had won it, and then Mitchell Moses comes back amidst plenty of contract talk as well. So there was lots of pressure on Mitch at the time. And then he slots the winning field goal to make it 17-16.
On the wrong side too. His angles are all buggered up there.
Well, they had a penalty.
Yeah.
So he kicked it out to where he knew he had to kick it out to kick the field goal.
Yeah, once again, this is what you get for a top-line halfback. You win the tight games. They own it. And those two players, those two halfbacks, they own the big games.
Yep. So that was on this day in 2023. And on this day in 2024, so just 1 year ago, Benji Marshall gets his first victory as head coach of the West Tigers. There was a lot of pressure on him. He came into head coaching just that year earlier, obviously with Tim Sheen's leaving, but it was quite fitting, wasn't it, that it was at Leichhardt Oval, their spiritual home ground, against the Sharkies. A pressure-relieving victory for Benji Marshall, Bill.
Yeah, up against a good team too. They're a top 4 team, the Sharks. And, you know, Benji, I love the fact that Benji's coaching the Tigers. He's a Tiger through and through. He was there in their last premiership, what was it, 20 years ago now.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, to get his first win on the board, and now he's doing some great things. He's 2 from 3 this year, so
you think of his schooling. So he spent that year, like, remember, they've come last the last couple of years. So the first year he didn't have to face the media, he didn't have to do a lot of that stuff because Tim Sheens did it all. Then he came in, took over at the back end of that year, and then last year, same thing, didn't win many games, but fronted up. I like the way he fronted up. He was, at all the games he'd come in, he was pretty positive, and now they're starting to win a few games. So that schooling of losing and sort of working everything out and, you know, how to deal with players through different situations.
And dealing with the media too, because he got hammered at times for things like he had a game of golf on game day, or
he went to Fiji.
And there was that. So he got hammered. He had to front up a lot, but it's good to see them doing well. And you can see also too, a lot of the players are almost like fanboys of Benji. In a lot of their interviews, they say they loved Benji growing up, and plenty of the players, like Appy said, he went there for Benji. I think, yeah. Appy was a Tigers fan growing up, and Benji was his favourite player. So,
and like Galvin, he's got the right coach, because Benji's going to let him play. He won't restrict him. He'll let him get out there and express himself and make errors. So, yeah, well done to the Tigers. It's so good to see the Tigers going well, because they've been the sleeping giants for the last 15 years. What did you say?
20.
20?
Yeah, 05.
Huge fan base. So next time they play at home or at Leichhardt, help me out, Freddy. Well, whenever it is, it's going to be packed. Yeah.
It's Campbelltown next weekend, but...
Campbelltown will be a sellout. Yeah. Looking forward to it. Well done. Tigers.
Go the
hang on. West Tigers.
West Tigers, yes.
I apologise for that. West fans, West Tigers.
From really one that we can celebrate with Benji in his first win to back in 2012. This one was hard to watch at the time. It's hard to watch it and talk about as well. Jarrell Yao Yi. So this is not the incident, but he had a compound fracture, which was so gruesome. It ended his career, Bill, and prematurely, and there was so much ahead.
Yeah, it was over in Perth. He was playing for the Broncos. He leapt up to catch a high ball and landed awkwardly on his ankle. Compound fracture of his ankle, broke his ankle. He actually had to stay in Perth for a month just to wait for the swelling to go down, to get it operated on, to get back to Queensland. So what could have been? He was an incredible player, already played for Queensland, played for Australia, doing wonderful things at the Broncos. But, yeah, that was a tough night for Jarrell, but all in all, it's still a great career and one to celebrate. On this day, was it? Wow.
On this day. And I must say, Middo has found all of these for us, so I haven't done the digging. This was on this day, so Middo's got a whole long list, and Jarrell Yayi's on that. So too, the Rabbitohs coming back into the competition. So that was in 2002. So on this day was their second match back in the competition. So they'd already had one. It was a loss first up, and this one was against Canberra. So they'd had, I think, 12 of their players unavailable through injury. So their backs were against the wall. And apparently Russell Crowe had called every single player personally on the phone from LA as a congratulations to the Bunnies being back in the competition.
It was such a great moment when the Bunnies came back into the competition. Remember that march when they ended up at Town Hall or Hyde Park? There was 100,000 people there. So, yeah, great work.
You need the Bunnies to be, well, the comp is good, when the Bunnies are doing well, don't you think? Because they're such a huge club
History.
with
Great
history, tradition, a massive fan base as well.
And how often do you drive down the street and you see a bunny on the back of a car?
Yeah.
A little bunny.
That's a great emblem.
Yeah.
The marketing to have that bunny.
That's
and they have the rip bunnies
supermarkets and
sometimes.
stick them on the
with
back of cars.
Yeah.
There you have it on this day. So thank you, Mido, for all of those. We're going to dive
There's one
deep
about
into
Peter Parr too.
There was. Pari got in a fight. Didn't you
Parry
text
got-
him about it?
Peter Parr.
What do you-
He reckons he got a few in. He said he got belted by some young blokes, mostly giving some lip, as Parry does.
So,
Anyway, I don't know where that news came from. The Newcastle Bulletin.
yeah, and set to be the potentially the new CEO of the Knights as well. So good on you, Pari. We love you. Stay with us here on the Sunday Footy Show. Coming up, we are going to dissect the Queensland derby. The Broncos getting the job done over the Cowboys up at Suncorp Stadium. And don't forget as well, Marley and Me returns for season 2. You can catch it on 9 Now or wherever you get your podcasts. This week, she sits down with Raiders skipper Joseph Tarpany.
Etherington playing it for Brisbane. Here's Haas. Payne Haas! You're not going to stop Payne Haas! Suncorp erupts. He likes that one, the big fella.
Oh yes, a Queensland derby, it always delivers, and Payne Haas always delivers as well. Wasn't he just on
Frightening.
another planet on Friday night?
Frightening. I thought I'd never see a front row like Glenn Lazarus. He was an absolute machine, but this bloke's from another planet.
That's a good tackle.
He is from another planet.
And so fit.
And he's 119 kilos, yet
I
has a
like the
motor like that.
offload he had his game,
Yeah.
Freddy. We haven't really seen too much of the offload.
He did
Couple
against
of
the
off-
Roosters, couple against the Roosters, where...
Look at this, the right-hand flick.
And have a look at the team, Buck. The team are ready for it. They're all behind him. Look at them. They're hunting. That looks like that big bloke out of Happy Gilmore.
Chasing him down with
Yeah,
a
with the
nail in
green
his head.
jacket. Give
Unbelievable.
him.
Unbelievable.
jacket.
What an athlete.
They actually started really well, the Cowboys. I thought the Cowboys were probably the more dominant team in the opening 20 minutes. They just couldn't convert that to points, and then the Broncos just had a little bit too much class for them. But
Adam Reynolds was awesome.
yeah,
Come up with a couple of huge plays. I thought, well, the addition of a little bit of experience. Taumalolo, Jake Clifford, I thought, played a good role.
He's running the ball. He's injury-free. Had that groin injury last year, and he's had injuries over the last couple of years. He looks fit. When you're fit, you're clear in the head. He's taking the line on his running game.
They scored that try, and then after that, they dropped the ball, gave a six again away, and then Brisbane scored straight away. So whatever momentum they tried to change, it just got evaporated straight, instantly.
What about for someone like Adam Reynolds? There were question marks over his body and how long he would last when he came up to the Broncos. Given he's playing the form that he's in now, I know it's only round 3, but off contract at the end of the year, would you be...
One more year.
One more year?
One more year, yeah.
They tried to prod Lockie on the panel and get Lockie to say something, but he kept quiet. But he'd go again.
We should have got Darryl out. He would have told the truth. I love the play when they got to 6 to go and Reynolds looked up on play 0 and grubbing. I love that play. He just backed himself. They'll be there towards the end of the year. Some worrying signs for the Cowboys. In particular, missing 2 players in the pre-season doing ACLs.
Yeah, that's-
Helam Lukey, they're missing him.
I thought Purdu was good, the centre. He looked lively.
Quick, isn't he?
Yeah.
19 years old.
Couple of runs, 2 out of trouble. Wasn't just the intercept or off the error where he scored the try. There was another couple of runs where he went scooting through the middle.
Still don't know his best position.
He was a half, didn't he? Come through as a
Come
half.
through as a half. He's played fullback. Doing a great job in the centres. He picked up that loose ball and ran the length here. He's got some serious toe as well.
Reece Walsh, Bill, post-match there was a little bit of criticism that potentially he is always going for the big play and needs to be a bit more conservative. But can you see him start to play that style of footy a bit more? And do you see him needing to change his game at all, or you don't want to coach that flair out of him?
Yeah, bit of everything really. I think naturally he's going to grow and develop and mature into a more consistent player. That's just natural when you go through, these stages of your career. I actually think he's playing quite well. I think he's doing some really good things defensively. He's really committed with his defence and impacting the defensive line on the try line. he had some good moments with the football. Sure, there's some errors in his game, but and I'm sure the coaching staff and Reece himself, I know how hard he works and how hard he critiques his own game, that I'm sure he'll be working on it.
Also other people working with him. Most of the time it's when someone's coming into his space as well. So when someone's moving that quick, he's moving that quick all the time. He's flying every time he gets the ball.
And when you create so many opportunities and you're one of those players that good things happen off, there's an expectation that it always has to happen off you. And sometimes that can creep into your mindset as well. So, he'll grow and be more consistent over time. And the players, like Freddy said, the players around him can help him. And, the Adam Reynolds will be perfect for him to grow in this space.
I think Madge would have been happy with the fact that it wasn't flashy at times for the Broncos, but when the game was on the line, they had the experience and the calmness to get the job done.
2 words that really I don't hear much: Madge and happy. But
he was chirpy in the
very slippery
afterwards.
conditions, and hard to play on that. It was a derby, and they were both right up for the game. So I think you'd be happy with the 2 points.
Well, we know that they can be flashy. We know the Broncos can win brilliantly. So it's the tough, grindy side of the Broncos that I'm sure Madge will be looking to implement into the team and the character of the team and the culture of the organisation, because we know how brilliant they can be when they switch it on and they're all sharp with the football.
Well, the Queensland Derby, it delivered as it does each and every year. Same goes for the grand final rematch. This one was an epic one at Amy Park on Thursday night. The Storm getting the victory over a brave Panthers outfit who lost Nathan Cleary, and it came at a cost with a couple of injuries. We'll dissect it all after the break.
Try would make it really possible for the Panthers. Hughes punched another pinpoint kick from the champion number 6, and Pappy has got another try.
Yeah, the Storm getting home on Thursday night in that grand final rematch down at Amy Park. But Freddie, you've got to say that it was an incredibly brave performance from the Panthers, who already came in without Dylan Edwards. They lose Nathan Cleary, 7 minutes into a head knock, and down on troops. They hung in, but eventually the class of the Storm showed. Yeah,
they held the ball. That's what got them back in the game. They just got a bit of control about their game. I thought Lindsay Smith played a really good role there. He became like the other halfback with Isaiah through the middle. Although their outside backs did some good things under pressure. That was a brilliant try. Isaac tongue all the way, got the ball, had it in 2 hands, put it on his arm, and then brought Pappenhausen towards him. I thought that was absolutely brilliant. But, they were brave, but still didn't win. So they got to a stage where they could have won, and I thought Cam Munster, a couple of brilliant kicks under pressure was most likely the difference.
If someone said to you, Storm at home, Dylan Edwards is not playing and Nathan goes off in the first 5 minutes, you'd go, well, it's going to be 40 odd. They are an incredible club. From the players they lose and, that saying, the next man up, they all know their job and they just fit into that system. It is an incredible club. Yeah. An absolutely incredible club.
It was just class that got them in the end. It was 5 tries each. That was only goal kicking the difference. And it was 12-0 after a short period of time. And the Melbourne Storm looked like they were on top easy. And they just worked so hard, the Penrith Panthers, and fought their way back into the match. And listening to the 2 coaches in the press conferences, and you'd think that Penrith won the game. Craig Bellamy wasn't overly happy with the complacency side of his team's performance, and Ivan Cleary, well, he was really proud of what sort of effort his team put in. So, just that little bit of class. Cameron Munster, 3 tries off his boot, that was the difference. So with the mandatory stand-down period, 11 days for Nathan Cleary, he won't be there next week. Joey, Jack Cole then went into that 7 role. They had young Blaze Talangi. But for next week, would you consider bringing Brad Schneider in?
No, I think they'll go with Cole and
Blaze Talangi.
Yep, for sure.
And put Schneider on the bench.
Put Schneider on the bench.
Also, Dane Laurie might be back next week as well. He also played in the halves, so he played 5'8" at the Tigers and did a great job there. Yep. And I know they're pretty confident with him. He's been great for him.
What about Storm without Jerome Hughes, Bill? Well, that was a costly collision, wasn't it? I think that was the moment that Jerome Hughes broke his hand also. Nick Meaney with a facial injury. I know Grant Anderson went off with an injury. I think he came back on the field, so he might be okay.
They've got Will Warbrick to come back into the side, and you've got Wishart, who's really versatile. He can play halfback if need be for a period of time, and Nick Meaney's replacement will more than likely come from Grant Anderson or Marion Seve. So there are options. They've got good depth, the Melbourne Storm, this year, and they'll need it over the next couple of weeks because they're going to be without a few of their stars.
Honestly,
the Nick Meaney. It's hard to watch, isn't it? But
that's like a car accident, 150k an hour. Could you imagine getting headbutted by that melon? Big
He had that
Nelson.
breathe easy on too.
Oh,
it could have been a whole lot worse for Nick Meaney.
worse.
Yeah.
Could have been anything.
So is it a facial injury, jaw, or...?
Facial fracture
okay.
is the official report. So it's 4 to 6 weeks. But Bill, do you think that's kind of on par? I mean,
that's where-
you've done eye socket before.
Eye socket and cheekbone. I think I was out for 5 weeks. So, looking for a month or so on the sideline, Nick Meaney.
I remember Wendell and Richie Barnett had a head collision in a corner in a game. Richie Barnett, he's your brother.
My brother
had
did
a horrendous
at training. They were over in New Zealand and had a head clash with Ben Madalino. So they just turned in and his face collapsed. He's got 9 or so plates in his face.
Richie Barnett was similar.
Yeah. So
Still a good-looking lad. He was sharp.
You get like a facelift. They just pull it down. Like you. Facelift like you, Freddie.
bit of Botox, bit of filler.
Zoom in on that.
Zoom in right there.
Facelift.
Back to the footy before we...
Zoom, mate.
Back to the footy. We'll get back on track. Thomas Jenkins at fullback. Speaking of no Dylan Edwards, Dane Laurie was a laid out as well.
There's another one, Johnny Fanua, who's a young bloke coming through as well, who's another considered fullback. But
This is a
Did a
big
great
ask
job,
for him,
Jenkins.
right, Bill? Like going
really
down
good job.
there.
Solid. He was part of the reason why they got back in the match. They all did their role. And, I didn't know much about Thomas Jenkins. He's been at the Knights, I think, Joey.
He said the Knights couldn't go a yard.
he
Then he gets back in this system and look at him go.
He played in that Junior Panthers game against the Cowboys when they rested the whole team. I remember him just streaking down the right-hand sideline. I'm not sure if he scored. Anyway, it was a moment I'll always remember, but I was surprised he didn't do anything at Newcastle. And then came back for an opportunity. He was playing at, I'm pretty sure, it was St Mary's. And they just called upon him. He found out during the week and he aimed up. He was good.
Nickname Milky. Why would that be? He'd hate the summer. Just that.
Get burnt.
Yeah, get burnt.
Pasty.
He'd get burnt indoors. Anyway, well done, Milky.
What about for the Storm, Bill, the next couple of weeks?
Yeah.
How do you see? I mean, incredible start to the season for them, as we always see, but the fact that they're going to have no Nick Meaney, no Jerome Hughes. I know you touched on some of those replacements
I think
just
it's
before, but it's a good opportunity to blood some more players in their system, right?
It's a great challenge, Em, and I think Craig Bellamy and his team will be looking at it like a challenge, especially Jerome Hughes. He's the reigning Dally M medalist. He's the glue to holding that team together, does the majority of their kicking. So, the likes of Wishart and Cameron Munster and Harry Grant and probably Ryan Pappenhausen to a certain extent will do more of the kicking and the controlling of their game management. But, they're a really strong squad.
Is Jonah back?
Jonah Pezzett, I'm not sure when he's back. He's coming back from a knee reconstruction. So he mightn't be too far away, but to jump straight into first grade would probably be a big ask when you've got someone like Tyron Wishart there ready to go.
Well, up next, are you ready for it, Joey? The award-winning segment, Turn It Up, and we have none other than James Maloney.
What could possibly go wrong?
We might need one of those dump buttons that Freddy needed in the segment earlier. We're going to talk about Jimmy's career on and off the field. But as we head to the break, we sit down with the Storm's new signing, Stefano Utoikamanu.
I felt like it was my kind of debut in the NRL all over again, just debuting for a new club, but I think I'm only going to get better for me. So coming to a club as good as this one, I was pretty nervous like going into my first game just because it's just a really good club and they have a lot of good players and they weren't so good last year. I was pretty nervous for myself just to come in, but I was pretty confident with the work I did coming into that game. So I feel like home, coming running out there and just seeing all the fans there. It was pretty welcoming for myself. Because I have my family there, that probably makes it feel a lot better too. But yeah, I think it was just exciting running out there and seeing so many people cheer for us and seeing how many fans were out there just to support us was pretty cool for me. Leading into that game, it's been a pretty big change for me and a bit of a process, trying to learn new things here and just how this team trains and everything going on in between. So it's been pretty mad. My first game, we got a pretty good win. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. I feel like when you come here, everyone focuses on what they can control, and we know we're all putting in the work in to be the best we can on game day. So I feel like that's probably the most I can do for myself, is just focus on the work I do during the week, and I know I can trust myself to take that onto the field, and I can trust my teammates to do that too. So I'm just enjoying time with my family down here, and my partner Kiara, and my two boys, Samson and Sterling. Samson's 4 and my youngest boy is 10 months, so we're just kind of settling in, and I've made a pretty big move. So my family came about 2-3 weeks ago, and we're still kind of just unpacking our house, but yeah, I'm kind of just happy my family's here, and happy that I get to be on this journey with them. A lot of the players here are from outside of Melbourne, so they've all gone through the same thing, and I feel like, just having that gives me confidence that everything down here will just work itself out. I'm not the only one going through what I'm going through, coming from out of state and coming here where there's not too many people here that or have much family here. Like, as I said before, a lot of players come here and they don't have, family or friends, or don't really know each other down here. So everyone's kind of a tight-knit group here, and I feel like that kind of helps. It's good. I had Samson pretty young, so I was only 20 and he's 4 now, so I feel like soon he's going to understand, what footy actually is, and not just say, "Go Daddy," and he kind of cheers me on. And after the game, he was actually asking me, "Oh, why didn't you say anything back to me?" I was like, "I can't even hear you." So it's funny to see him in the crowd, and I hope that, soon he's going to look up to me and see what I do for a job is actually pretty good.
So you want to be a champion?
Turn it up, turn it up.
Bonjour, ça va, mon ami?
Making his first grade debut, James Maloney.
He's a funny little bugger, isn't he, that Maloney?
Oh, beautifully picked up by Maloney. He's got 30 to go. Are they going to reach him? Maloney gets one for himself.
He loves it, Jimmy.
The kid from Orange. From deep inside his own half, what a kick, Maloney. Oh, he ran into a good shoulder there from Maloney.
Oh, Jimmy Maloney.
And here's Maloney, and he's still going, Maloney. Opening try, Maloney.
Well, he's just a 100% footy player.
Maloney goes himself. Oh, Maloney again.
Oh!
Wow. Oh, intercepted by James Maloney. And he goes over to good. He's got the drop goal. Maloney, he hits it. He likes it. It looks like he's done it again. He's a genius.
Yeah, I suppose when it's all done and you sort of look back at your career in the NRL, yeah, I'll be pretty proud of it.
James Maloney. What a buy, what a purchase.
Welcome to Turn It Up, and we have one of the great characters of any era, James Maloney. Maybe send the kids outside if you don't want to listen to some people. Now, Jimmy, you had 5 NRL clubs and you played in France. So each club you had a shelf life for 2 or 3 years.
Yep.
Why was that? Did you drive everyone mad?
Mate, possibly, but I think I would have went mad myself. Like, I liked the challenge of...
Mad or madder?
Hey, madder, probably. I used to like the challenge of going to a new side with a slightly different style of football, and working out how we could unlock their potential and that sort of thing. I don't think I could have ever been a player that stayed at the same place for 10 years and just...
Not even for 13 million?
Hey, for 13 million, I'd give it a crack anyway.
Who was the biggest influence on your career? You obviously played under so many great coaches, but your old man played as well?
Yep. Yeah, my old man, obviously early years, he coached me when I was a junior, really good country footballer. He had probably a massive effect on me and teaching me about the game. And then I was very lucky to have, Craig Bellamy, Ivan Cleary, Trent Robinson. Like, if you look through the last 10 years, they pretty much got all the premierships between them there. So had a lot of influence there, and as I said, everyone's got a little bit of a different philosophy, a slightly different view of the game, and I think by going around and experiencing all that, then you learn more about football and the game yourself. So, it was good for me.
I think you had a different view on the game as well. The story I like when you went down to Melbourne, they used to do these army camps, and I got told the one where you had to stay up at night, and they reckon they went and they saw you. You had your thing up and you were asleep.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Well, it was like the second night. So it was like Bill would have known. They do the 3 days, so it's over 2 nights. And the first night, you're lucky if you get 45 minutes sleep. And then the second night, they put you up and you stand there with your big backpack on, holding this iron bar, and you're sort of waiting, and then your head starts playing tricks on you. You think people are coming. And then we were just staying up, and I was just like, mate, I've had enough. I was really, so I found this little bush, and I threw my bag in under there, and I hid myself in. And then they come through and picked everyone up, and they didn't see me. So then they didn't realise until they got back, and then we're in like blue. I was like blue team, and you had a number.
Yeah.
So they do like a sound off, blue 1, blue 2, blue 3, and then there's this pause, and Willie Chambers goes, blue 5. Like, where's blue 4? And I woke up to these blokes spraying me with torches on there. What are you doing? Oh, mate, get out of here. I'm done.
Have you got a favourite club?
I get asked it a lot, mate. I don't have any bad relations with any of them. I left everywhere on good terms, and I had a good time in all of them.
You got to pick one. Pick one.
Have to pick one. I would only probably say the most tight-knit club I was part of would have been Roosters.
Yeah?
Yeah, that crew there and just the setup, I think, because we're...
What about off the field as well? You talk about the Roosters, like someone like Kath King. You talk about, you know...
Yeah, well, she's huge for the club, and I think the setup we had there when I was there, basically you come through the door and you see the girls at reception, so you say g'day, and then, you know, when you're floating around between sessions, you're walking through talking to back office staff and that. So everyone was sort of on top of each other, so you just built relationships with everyone in the club, whereas I don't think all clubs are set up like that. Sometimes, you know, there's the back office staff that are over separate and you don't really have any interaction, so that probably, you know, affects it.
Well, the 2 premierships come, one from the Sharks, one from the Roosters, but you spent time at the Panthers at the back end of your career, and now what they've done now over the last 5 years, did you see that coming? Did you see Nathan getting to this level? Did you see Dylan Edwards playing to this standard?
Yeah, look, I knew they had, you know, an incredible talent out there, and they were all very young when I got there. Whether I saw them winning 4 in a row, that's very hard. I don't think anyone could sort of predict anyone to do that, but... yeah, I knew the talent was there, and I knew they had a good work ethic, and I think that's the most impressive thing than I see now. I was like, the fact that year after year, you know, they just go back about their work, and they must be so fit because they're the fittest side out there by a country mile, and I think that's where everyone sort of looks. You know, Penrith don't do anything that brilliant that, you know, no one else can do. The thing is, they nail it every time on their execution when it matters, but they do it because they're in position, they're fit, and they're ready to go. And that doesn't come easy, you know. You
played Origin under Freddy, and we know you're a bit of a throwback, an old-fashioned footy player. You would have missed our bonding nights. But one bonding night, you wanted to kick on, and they said you can either go home. Is that right?
Yeah. We were down at the Coogee Bay, and we were going there, and all the boys, I think it got to like 12 and that was closing, and we'd all started getting a bit of a taste for it, and we're like, let's go. And Brandy was like, no, you're either staying here or home, as in Crown Plaza that was down the road. And then the boys found the little loophole and went, there's home nightclub in it. So all the boys went, yeah, sweet, Brandy, we're going home. And then they all got in cabs and we
went to home. Did you know?
The next day, Brandy was cracking. He goes, oh, well played, boys. You found a loophole.
I'm not sure, you know, you didn't get much credit because you had Nathan, a lot of these young blokes, but, you know, some of the things I was doing, you know, and the papers and the media were making different things out of whether it was taking their shoes off, but one of the biggest things was you know, because, you know, you just sort of jumped on and made a bit of a joke about it. But what was that period like? Those couple of years in Origin, playing with those young blokes coming through, what was that like for you?
Yeah, look, I loved it. You know, obviously you made a lot of changes and we had a really young group, so I sort of felt, you know, like I did when I got to Penrith, you know. I had sort of always steered away from leadership roles. I didn't sort of want it, and I went out to Penrith and everyone just starts sort of looking to you for information and for questions and talking. And I think that was the same. All these guys that were coming in playing their first series, what's it going to be like, what to expect, and their young energy I think makes you feel useful. And I think we had a really good system where we could feed boys early ball and move the ball and let guys run into space and do their thing. And yeah, we had a couple of good years and ruined Billy's fairy tale send-off. So.
He's had plenty.
Yeah. Did you steer away from the leadership stuff because you liked the freedom of just playing footy? Because you had a great freedom to play the game.
Yeah, I did, and I think it was just sort of like I understood and I knew I wasn't the best trainer in the world or things like that. So I knew through the week that I wasn't necessarily the sort of do what I do, follow me, like in sort of that sort of person. So I like doing, just doing me and looking after myself. And but I think towards the end, it's something that I really started to enjoy once I sort of couldn't get away from it. And then, it was something that I took a bit of pride in.
The one thing everyone talks about, especially when you were playing, was you had a memory like a fish, they reckon. Is that
Nemo.
Like Nemo. So you could make an error and it wouldn't affect you. You look at players these days, some of them, they make an error and just ruin them for a month. Like, do you know what that is?
I get asked a lot, and I don't. For me, I don't get it, because to me it's the most logical way to think. If I make an error and stuff something up, then it's done. I can't do anything about it. I can't get it back. It's happened. Move on. The only thing I can affect now is what happens going forward. So, I always used to have the bit of an attitude. If I let him one try but set up three, then I still win.
I'm in front.
What about grand finals? What's it like to achieve it? You were in the Sharks when they won their first one.
Yeah.
Must have been mental.
Yeah, it was unreal. I thought the build-up, I wasn't living down in Cronulla, so it probably kept me out of all the build-up, which was good. But I think it sunk in for me afterwards when I saw a guy like Andrew Eddinghausen, in tears, hugging Gal, and I remember looking over going, oh, this is big, eh? And there'll never be another first for Cronulla, and so that's awesome to be a part of. And I think I came into a side that had such experience in the forward pack, which give you a platform every week that you knew what you were going to get. And then we had some exciting outside backs that their performances might fluctuate at different times, but they didn't have the effect on the game, because you had your platform that you were getting every week.
At the back end of your career, you went over and played in France. What was it like taking your family over to another country, speaking a different language?
Yeah, unreal.
To drive the Frenchies mad?
Hey, the Frenchies love me, mate.
We only there again.
I went over. Before I left, I had a really good conversation with Trent Robinson. Obviously, he married a French girl and spent time over there, and he sort of gave me the insight, and I went in and I bought into trying to learn the language and all that sort of thing. And yeah, like to think that I could take my family overseas, travel Europe and that, kicking a footy round, like it's unreal.
What do they do when you retire? You get your wage or something? Is that right? You got to stay there?
Yeah, I stayed for 2 years on the French unemployment.
No, if anyone can sort of rule.
So yeah, it was a great system. I played 2 years, and then there's this system where you basically can stay and get their unemployment for 2 more.
So you're on the rock and roll over there.
Rock and roll, enjoying every minute of it.
What about some of your relationships with, like I look at Craig Bellamy, like you were one guy that could really loosen him up, and you didn't change your personality for any environment that you were in.
Yeah, look, I think Bellyache understood me as a player, and I think, that's a lot of people talk about the good coaches and understanding different players, because if you're coaching, you've got 30 different personalities in a club that you can't sort of coach them all the same way. And I think very early on, Bellyache understood me, and I remember, because I played a lot of reserve grade, so on our big sessions, if first grade new boys had a big game coming up, Bellyache would just sort of come out to me before the session, just tap me on the shoulder and go, Jimmy, I need you to be good today. And then that's all it took, and I was like, yep, sweet, right, I'm on. But then away from it, I used to love stirring him up as well and teeing him up, so it was good.
What about the coaching? You're up at the Cowboys. How'd you find the coaching side of things?
I enjoyed the coaching. I probably underestimated obviously how much is involved with it. Obviously, in coaching these days, there's so much video work and stuff like that, which, you know, I wasn't big on video when I played the game. But I learned a lot. Like, I thought, you know, Toddy was really good for me, and Justin Morgan, their other assistant, they were obviously experienced coaches and they were really good for me. But I think now I'm not sure the full-time coaching is the way for me. I think, you know, different sort of things. I still enjoy coaching and I enjoy passing on knowledge and seeing guys perform better. But, yeah, I think in a more, you know, little bits sort of scenario.
What do you see in the Cowboys at the moment? They haven't had a win this year.
Yeah.
They're pretty unlucky against the Broncos, or they aimed up. What do you see?
Yeah, to be fair, I haven't watched a whole lot of their games. Obviously, they've had a bit of a tough start. Like, they've had Brisbane, Cronulla that are going to be, you know, those good sides. Obviously, I think their round one game they would have been disappointed with. But I'm sure they'll get there. They've got plenty of talent in their side. They always have. I think it's the nitty-gritty and just rolling your sleeves up and staying in the grind, and that's the sort of struggle for them, that the bits that they need to improve on.
What about the best player you played with? You can only pick one.
Cam Smith.
Cam, yeah? Why?
He was just miles in front in terms of reading the game. And I think there's not players like that in the game. And like the way I sort of see it, you look at sort of the quality and how much halves are getting paid, because I don't think there's the halves that view the game and play the game and in plays ahead like they used to. I think Nathan's probably miles apart in sort of how he sees that game. You know,
because they're too structured?
Well, I think so. Like, you know, because I feel like now, you know, kids growing up, you know, you put your kids in footy at under sixes or whatever, and the parent who coaches them is, you know, whoever's got time, you know, and so they're doing their best. But then I think you get to sort of 13 to 16 and you get these coaches that are coaching kids in this age group that are, you know, watching NRL and, you know, trying to get them to run these big sets and plays, but no one's teaching them that if there's two there and you got three, go have a crack because you've got an advantage.
Yeah. They've just got a great vision, like they've got a great understanding of what their football game needs to look like. Cameron, Nathan, and then they go and implement it, and they can change decisions without even communicating. Like Cameron, playing with Cameron, he would just not give the ball to that side of the field if he didn't think that's what the picture looked like. And he'd just kick early, he'd, you know, give it to you when needed. So, yeah, totally get that.
The other thing I spotted with Cameron, I was behind him once at an Origin game and watching him work in defence as well. You know, he's using that same knowledge in attack, just moving people in position. He just controlled, he was at the ruck a lot of the time, and he just controlled that ruck, the numbers, the people in what positions they need to be. He just did it all off instinct.
It's the footy smarts, isn't it? It's the footy smarts, and everyone talks about, you know, you're sort of, you know, creating robots now where, you know, everyone's just told what to do and they're not understanding and they're not sort of thinking for themselves.
Well, thanks for coming in, Jimmy.
Too easy, mate.
Too good.
You take the fruit salad with you.
Stay with us after the break. More of the Sunday Footy Show.
Welcome to the passing competition. So no bloody arguments, you understand? No foot fault there, Greeny. And a 10. No pressure, Luke. This is one of the more important things that happens here on the Sunday, understand? Oh, beautiful. Rounds of applause.
Yes, welcome back to the Sunday Footy Show for another edition of Freddy's Pass Off. We have some of the young girls from the Narrabeen Sharks, so I'm hoping I've got the names right. We've got Maddie, Saskia, Roxy and Sky. And before we do get into the pass off, we have some beautiful posters here because the girls were friends with Bo Huitt, the Manly fan who unfortunately lost his battle with cancer during the week. So, Sky, you just want to say a few words about your good friend.
So this is Bo. He was a really kind friend. We shared heaps of memories with him from kindy to year 6, and he was really into his footy.
We always used to play footy with him on the field. We always used to do 4v1s and he always used to smash us.
We wish the best to his family and friends.
Well said, girls. That's beautiful. I'm going to collect the posters just so we keep them safe before we do the pass-off. So thanks for coming in. We've got Jimmy Maloney as well. Freddie, do you want to take
Jimmy,
it
you're
away?
on. Jimmy, you can go first.
Okay.
Narrabeen Sharks, pretty famous club. Jack Hill's good. Johnny Gibbs.
Chock Watmow.
Chock Watmo.
Josh Stewart.
One of the greats over here, girls. You got to help.
Josh Stewart's Nathan's.
All right, we've got to clean up the balls.
Yeah, one of the great clubs on the northern beaches.
He got suspended a few times,
Coming
Josh.
off
Hey,
You come
Josh,
over here.
how
I
are
need
you?
someone over here. This side. That's it.
Dual finance, is it?
All right.
Josh?
Alrighty.
Finance. Anyway, so you got 30 seconds either side. You got to throw a lot of them, all right?
Watch your foot there, Jimmy.
So when you don't get one in the middle, I know you won't be worried about it. Anyway, 3, 2, 1, go.
Let's go.
Oh,
Still
the banger.
got it.
Oh, a bit high. Hang on.
Oh, he's
Hang on.
It's on his mind.
Fatigue.
Come on, Nemo.
Freddie.
You need more. You got to throw more, Jimmy.
Freddie.
That's it. You got to.
One so far.
Oh yeah.
That's better.
Oh,
You got to throw more,
This
Jimmy.
is Badira's
Gotta throw,
side.
That's it.
Jimmy.
Yep. Oh, good pass. Oh. That's 5.
Come on, girls.
Yep.
Yep.
2, 1. Swap sides.
Swap sides.
Swap sides.
You can never throw left-handed.
Oh, Joey.
Come on, Joey.
There we go. The 5.
Go with the ball.
Oh, there it is.
Come behind here, Jimmy. There we go.
Come on.
Mate, you're barely
Balls.
hitting the board. Yo.
15 seconds to go, Jimmy. Bring it home. Bring it home.
Oh, rimmed out.
Oh! HIA.
I'm behind you. Yeah.
5,
7, finish.
4,
Come on, mate.
3, 2.
One more. 7.
And that.
Finish with a 1.
Alrighty.
Stop it.
Not bad, Jimmy. Not the best, but not bad. And
Been out
Maddie,
too long.
you're up. You're up. I think you get to do it.
Okay.
Are we doing Jimmy's score now or later?
We've got Jimmy's score. Jimmy's score is coming. Drum roll, couple of seconds, but someone is counting. I don't know if they counted right, but it's coming.
You might
It's
have to sneak
coming.
behind here.
No, we're going to...
There's going to be plenty of 10.
No score.
All right,
score.
that's it.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, no,
here we
we've
go.
got it. We've got
220.
it.
220.
220.
That good?
Don't cheat, all
Just
right?
beat Jack Newton.
No cheating.
Got to help Maddie as
Maddie.
much as possible.
Let's
Get
go.
the balls in quickly.
3,
Ready?
2, 1, go.
Go, Maddie. Yeah.
Get the one behind. 7.
Aim for the 7 at the top.
Good stuff, Maddie.
You got to throw more, Maddie. You got to throw more. There you go. That's better.
Yes.
Rapid fire, yes.
More, Maddie.
Yes.
Another one.
And again.
Maddie.
Hey. This is like dark.
Yes. There's another 10.
Yes.
180.
You've beaten Jimmy already.
Yep. Another 10.
You want to play for Newcastle?
2, 1, change over.
sides, Maddie.
Other side.
Oh, hang on.
That's all right, play on.
Starts with a 10. Get your foot behind the line.
Oh.
There's no line. Yeah, behind you.
Good
Yeah,
job,
just keep
Maddie.
going. Yep. Yep.
Jimmy.
Test your peripheral here.
15 seconds.
Oh.
And another 10.
Yep.
Another one.
Yep.
And again, Maddie.
Yep.
And again.
Yep.
Go, Mad.
Finish
5
strong,
seconds,
Maddie.
Maddie.
Finish strong.
Yes.
2,
One more.
1.
Yes. Good
Finish
stuff,
with a
Maddie.
7.
You were smashing it.
She smashed me for sure.
She definitely beat Jimmy.
Really?
NRLW player of the future.
Yeah.
Drum roll, please. Her score is coming.
Go, Jimmy, have a shot. What's your head?
Oh, 301.
301.
A big clap for Maddie. Coming close, girls.
Maddie.
Coming close. I think we've got... Do we have the
deliberately
leaderboard?
Rip that off.
We're going to have the leaderboard after the break. I'm pretty sure you're right up there. You might even be winning now, Maddie. Well done. Who's your favourite player? You know?
Ashton Wood.
Okay, there you go. You can maybe play for the Knights as well. Joey
Yes,
can teach you a
we'll
few
get
things.
you
Coming close. Big wave for the camera. Girls from the Narrabeen Sharks, they did an incredible job. We'll be back after the break. We're going to chat doggies and eels this afternoon and more Freddy's Pass Off next week. See you soon. Calling all future broadcasters, our brand new Sunday Footy Sidekick competition could have your child hosting their own segment, interviewing players, chatting to the experts, even calling from the commentary box. Simply scan the QR code on your screen, upload a video and tell us in 25 words or less why your child is perfect for the job. So everyone get on your phones right now. Great opportunity for the kiddies. And speaking of the kids, the Narrabeen Sharks did a great job. I think we've got the official leaderboard for Freddy's Pass Off so far. So this is the juniors, Narrabeen Sharks. Well done, Maddie. 301. You are on top at the moment.
I've got to say, she ripped off the line, so we need to go to the video.
It wasn't her fault. It stuck to her shoe, Freddy.
Yeah, I know, but still, I think she was sneaking up a little bit, so we'll review that.
No bunker for that. I'm saying it's okay, Maddie. Let's go to the leaderboard for the players, see where Jimmy sits. And he's second behind Ronaldo Mulatalo. And Anthony Wiggle is still at the bottom. He might stay there. Poor old Anthony. Anyway, we love...
He forgot pass, he just had the guns out all the time.
We love Freddy's pass off, and we love Sunday afternoon footy. We're heading out to CommBank Stadium. The Eels up against the Doggies this afternoon. This one's going to be a cracker. Freddie, so no Viliami kick-out.
No kick-out.
And no Matt Burton for the Dogs. Obviously, yes, undermanned, but how significant is that for the Dogs today?
Well, them two in particular play such a big part in the way they play with the Burton's kicking and then Viliami's chasing. And that's such a big part of the way they play, putting teams pressure on the other team. So whether Bailey Haywood does that this afternoon or Toby Sexton takes a bigger responsibility with the kick, it'll be interesting to see. But they're a team that are based on effort. So the rest of it won't change. It's just a matter if they can put enough pressure on Parramatta.
Yeah, I think that's what will win them the game, is that team effort. It won't be an individual performance from any one player. On the flip side, Parramatta are still yet to win a game this year. They get the Fox. The Fox will play his first game for the Eels, and it just so happens to be against his former club, the Bulldogs, so that'll be interesting.
I'm changing my tip. I'm going to the Eels. I can feel a victory.
Is this an exclusive tip here on the Sunday Footy Show?
Yeah, I think they can win. With the injuries, Freddie spoke about Burton and also kick-out. They also defend next to each other. So new combinations defensively. So, yeah, I like the Eels. Is it a big crowd? Does it sell out?
It will be.
Yeah.
It's huge.
It's always good at CommBank Stadium. We're going to take a break and we'll wrap it all up very shortly. See you in a sec. Don't forget, tomorrow night, another episode of 100% Footy, 9 p.m, straight after maths. It is in prime time. The special guest is Daly Cherry Evans, so the panel can grill him about that low ball offer that Joey was blowing up about. We also have an exclusive. I sat down with Cam Murray after that Achilles injury. So great insight into Wayne Bennett and what he's done with the club. Said he was scared of Wayne the last time he was here. So don't miss that 100% Footy tomorrow night. Don't forget, this afternoon we are heading to CommBank Stadium. Coverage from 3 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. It is the Eels and the Doggies. I know Joey said Eels. Freddie, did I get a tip from you?
I'm a bit more staunch than Joey. I'm going to stick with the Bulldogs.
Bulldogs?
Bulldogs.
Bulldogs. And then we also have another match on. There is another match later this evening. Manly Raiders. What's your tip for that one?
Turbo's out, isn't he?
Turbo is out. Just for 1 week. He'll be back next week.
Manly just.
Remember what Joel said about the buffets?
Yeah. The buffets. Canberra and the buffets. But don't tell Josh Papali'i.
Yeah.
We'll see you at CommBank Stadium. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you next week for another edition of the Sunday Footy Show.
You simply